Tried to string out that run, but there was nowhere to turn it upfield, and he's forced out of bounds for a loss. And here comes the field goal unit for the second time tonight. It's good. And guys, after the field goal, now they have the lead.
You've got to make the opponent pay for turning the football over, and while this team would have liked to have scored a touchdown off that pick, I think they're pretty happy getting the field.
After putting up a 3-spot, the kickoff unit set to go. Coming out with it, it's Thomas. That gamble did not pay off as they bring him down at the 12-yard line. Opening play of this drive comes from the 12-yard line. The give to the running back from the shotgun. We've seen a ton of this tonight. They just keep giving him the ball, and he keeps running into brick walls. Not much running room again. Second down, they'll go to the air. Firing to the right, complete. Found a little bit of room to operate, but he'll be stopped just short of the first down. And the Blue Hens come to the line on 3rd and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. Trying to set up the screen. They'll make the stop, but not before they use the screen beautifully and pick up the first down. Passing game kept this drive moving. Let's see if they try it again. Looking downfield on first down. And the pressure was too much. They get him at the 15.
Boy, this defense is ridiculous. On point. They know how to rush the passers. Multiple guys getting it done. 5 sacks, and we are still in the first half.
These guys are bringing serious heat. They are like sharks swarming and just getting after the passer. Dropping back, it's Pope. Pressure coming. And the defense gets loose, bringing the heat, and down he goes again.
And how about that back-to-back sacks? You want 2 sacks in a game. That's a great game. He is flying around, getting to that quarterback and getting him on the ground.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Just threw that one away to avoid disaster. The Blue Hens will bring the punt team onto the field. So from the shadow of his goalpost, he gets the punt away. Turns like that, and while you don't settle for the fair catch if you don't have to, picks up just a little bit of yards to help out the O. From the gun to give, looking for room. They'll make the stop, and he gets 4 on the play, balls at the 25. And the Red Wolves are in the hurry-up.
A nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you got to be prepared.
There he goes. And he scoots his way to the first down and then slides to avoid the hit. The Red Wolves are in the red zone. Out of the gun, the running back has it. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. They'll leave it with him. He's going to lose a yard on that one. It'll be 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Lets it fly. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up. And this field goal team has been busy. This kicker comes out for the 3rd time tonight. It's good. The lead now 6 here in the 2nd.
Man, so many more times we're going to say, go for it, be aggressive. Nice to have a guy you can depend on, and you know you're putting 3 on the board. Nice kick, nice job.
He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Let's see if they can get something going here late in the half. Leaves it with the back. They'll knock him down after a pickup of 1 to the 18. We're at the 2-minute timeout. It's been a good one so far. Opportunity for this offense perhaps to take the lead before halftime. They go right back to him. Got the first down and more. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. They'll rush to the line. Clock stopped for the first down. They'll set the chains and wind the clock. And the rush will get to him at the 25. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They've already racked up big sack numbers. It's starting to snowball, and they are ready to go again. Brown will throw it. Fires to the tight end. And that completion good for a short game, but they still have some work to do to pick up the first down. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Got rid of it just in time. Has no choice but to throw it away, and it'll bring up 4th down. And the Blue Hens will call on their punt team. 4th time tonight we've seen this guy come on to punt. Fair catch is signaled and made, and they'll go to work from the 27-yard line. Let's see if they can put together a drive starting from their own 28. He wastes no time and comes out throwing. Makes the catch. It's Harrell. Hits the afterburners. And they are pushing the ball down the field. A big pickup on that one, and the tackle is finally made.
Well, this quarterback, I think, has earned the right to take shots here late in the first half. They've had a lot of success. They've got the lead. They're not going to play it safe. He's going to make good decisions, and when he has opportunities to throw strikes, he's going to hit those throws.
They made the defense pay with that last big chunk of yardage. Now 1st and 10 from the 30. On the ground, it's Cooks. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. And the Red Wolves have put themselves in dire straits after that lap. And the quarterback runs out of time, and down he goes at the 38. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. A shot toward the end zone. And good coverage there to knock it away and deny the score. This kicker's leg is getting a workout. He's already made 3 field goals, and here he comes again. And he's got it counted all the way to 55. Never in doubt. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. UAB is putting on a show offensively. They've built up a comfortable lead against an opponent that's really been outmanned. They're up by 20 over the Blue Bulls. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know that.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. He put it out there for him, and the senior gave him a chance, but they couldn't make the connection. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. They'll send the back in motion. Brown wants to pass. Throws to the wideout. Almost intercepted. It'll fall incomplete. The defense almost came up with a turnover. They're about to wear this punter out. He's already been out 4 times, staring at a 5th if they can't move the chains. He gets it down to the 30-yard line, and time is running short here in the first half. We've got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Rush is on him. Got a man in the middle. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays.
Timeout, Delaware.
To the air on 1st down. Unloads it left. Complete downfield. Big play for this offense as they get it to the 32. And perhaps there's some confusion. The field goal unit is out there. And this kicker might be feeling it. He made one earlier, now from 49 yards out. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
All right, guys, thanks. Looks like we've had ourselves a very enjoyable first half so far. And yes, football is a game of inches, but man, is that really the case when you consider the length of some of these possessions. Look, I'm not an analytics guy, but I do know this. The team that sustains drives and just moves the sticks might be the team that comes out on top today. And on that note, time to throw it back to our guys at the stadium.
The Blue Hens will kick it away to start the second half. Looking for blockers. And they'll haul down the returner to start us on the next drive. Opening play of this drive comes from the 13-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground to start the second half. Great penetration by this defense, and they knock him down behind the line, a loss of 1.
Well, the defense was trailing going in at halftime, and I think they made some adjustments against the run. They want to slow this guy down. That's a really nice start to the second half if you're on defense.
The Red Wolves want to move quickly. Looking to throw, it's Flowers. Nowhere to go, and the ball is loose. The offense looks as if they fell on the fumble, and they'll keep the ball.
Doesn't it always seem like that ball is on the ground for like 30 seconds? You got 17 guys running at it in slow motion. Like, I got to get the football. Offense, very lucky to get that football back.
And the Red Wolves will punt this one away. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. Sometimes avoiding disaster is the best thing. The punter just gets it out of there. Very little will make a crowd hold its breath like a punt return, and he brought them to their feet on that one. Wants to go up top on first down. Sets up the screen. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. What will they dial up on second and a long way to go? Back to pass. Here comes the heat. And it'll be incomplete. This defense is physical in pass deep. And this offense can ill afford to come up empty on this drive, already trailing by multiple possessions. Fires to the big fella. Picks up enough to give them 1st and 10 from the 11. Looks as if we have an injury on that last. Blue Hens have it with a 1st and 10. Leaves it with the running back. He's pulled down after a tough run, gets it to the 6. Going to work on second down, and the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that 1st down. Tight end now in motion. Trying play action. And the quarterback goes down at the 11-yard line. They'd love to pick up this 3rd down and get a fresh set with 1st and goal. Brown will throw it. Pocket breaking down. And the pressure is coming in, and they get him again.
Offense, you got to do a better job. There's got to be more sense of urgency protecting your backup quarterback. You've already lost your starter due to injury. Now that the backup's in, you know you're going to have to hold on for just that split second longer, and they weren't able to do it there.
And for the 2nd time tonight, they'll trot out the field goal kicker. And he's already made one. The holder will put it down at the 26 for a 36-yard try. Didn't make him sweat at all. It's good. That'll pull them back to within 6.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
On the run from inside his own 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Out of the gun to give to the back. And he knocked him down after a gain of 3 to the 23. The Red Wolves want to crank the tempo. Motion from the wide receiver. Receiver on the move gets the touch pass. Oh, he's getting ahead of steam. They'll get the 1st down. It's spotted on the 49. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Timeout called here by the defense. It's their 1st of the half. It'll be a 1st down from the 49-yard line. He'll pull it on the read. And he didn't squeeze it. It's loose. Defense swarming on that loose ball. It'll be a turnover.
Well, the quarterback did everything right in terms of his reads on that option. job of holding on to the ball. Give the defense credit for getting to him and creating the takeaway.
Opening play of the drive from the 39. From the gun, they'll try the middle. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Got 3 on first down. It's 2nd and 7. Brown wants to pass. Finds his big tight end. Good pick up there as he gets the first down, and they'll mark him at the 48. Gives it on the option. You'll take this every time. 5 yards on the first down play. Line getting set on 2nd down. Looking to fire. Makes the grab. It's Tyree. He'll get it inside the 40. They'll mark it at the 39 before he goes out of bounds. On 3rd and short, just trying to get enough for the first down. Knocked down in the backfield, and that'll bring up 4th down. The Blue Hens send out the punt unit. This will be the 5th kick of the night. And no shot at a return here as the punt flies out of bounds. They'll try to put something together, backed up a bit, starting at the on first down. And he will be sacked at the 6-yard line.
You can just see the excitement this defense has every play. They're almost wishing this quarterback drops back to throw because they know they're going to get home to him. That's the 6th time they've registered a sack.
And the Red Wolves with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. He's going to run it. Short gain on the play before he slides. You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. Grabbed in the backfield. It's Little. Absolutely nowhere to go as his defense makes a 3rd down stop. He just wanted to get it out of there from his end zone. He'll haul it in right around the logo. And the returner will be knocked down. And now the Blue Hen offense onto the field. These guys really need to get something going on this drive. They are still well within striking distance, but they have very little to show for their possession so far. Good pickup, a little bit short of the sticks. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And the Blue Hens can really attack on this 2nd and short. Down the middle. He's there to make the stop, but the damage has been done as they pick up the first down on the throw and catch. The give. He's all the way down to the 3. An electric run has him set up. The Blue Hens will try to punch it in on 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. He works his way ever closer all the way down to the 1-yard line. They've had to settle for a couple of field goals on 3 previous red zone trips. They'd love to get it in on 2nd and goal. Touch pass on the jet sweep. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. The pressure ramps up on 3rd and goal. Brown will throw it. Into the hallelujah land. Touchdown, Delaware! They score for the big fella here. Why are tight ends so effective in the red zone?
Well, these aren't the guys that are going to burn by you and go for 70 most of the time, but when you can use their big-bodied frames, threaten them to run the football and be a blocker in the running game, and now you slip them in the secondary, make that big play.
Extra point here will give them the lead. And the extra point puts them on top by 1. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Dynamite matchup this week, fellas. Let's show you what's going down. Buffalo is just crushing it out there right now. Almost reminds me of Bills Mafia at a tailgate. They're up by 18 over the Judicials. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. Throws to the tight end. Got him downfield. Finally corralled, but not before. He picked up the first down. The Red Wolves racing to the line in the hurry-up.
A nice passing game by this offense. The quarterback and the receiver on the same page, in time, in rhythm, creates the big play. And look at them. They're right back on the football, ready to run another play.
Defense is there to greet him again, and they are ready, and he has found nowhere to run tonight. Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
I think this quarterback now at this point is looking over to the sideline saying, hey, can we just not throw it anymore? I mean, my guys, they can't block for me. I've got no chance back here. We need to just run the ball from this point out.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, no secret what he needs here. Had to throw it before he wanted. And this is going to be incomplete on 3rd. And the Red Wolves decide to punt it away. That leg is staying loose. Already the 5th kick of the night. Fields the punt and looking for daylight. And he'll work his way on the return out to the 35-yard line before he stopped. They'll start this drive from their own 35-yard line. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. The give to the back.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
They'll run for it on 3rd and short. They just needed a few inches, and the defense knocked them down in the backfield. And the Blue Hens will send out the punt unit. We've seen a lot of the punt way back from the 20. Couldn't get away from that cover team, and they've got him down at the 23. Arkansas State ready to go back to work on offense. Give to the running back. Rumbles ahead for a pickup of 5 to the 29. The Red Wolves in a good spot here with 2nd and short.
The offense has a little bit of success on the ground, and they're up. Look at them. They're ready to go again, back on the line of scrimmage, ready to run another play.
And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Ball spotted at the 29. Here they come on 3rd and short. Scanning the field, it's Flowers. Now improvising. Sweet cut there. Good, solid pickup on that one, and they've got it out to the 40, and it's 1st down. Time winding down in the quarter as they come to the line. Running behind that left side. And he was able to push forward for a solid gain as the clock strikes 0 here in the 3rd. And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. Not only is the scoreboard on their side, but so too is time as we open the 4th. So the final period starts with a 2nd down play. Quick completion to the right. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the 1st down. And the Red Wolves headed quickly to the line.
And the offense showing off the short passing game, moving the sticks. Nice job, and look at them. They're right on the football, ready to capitalize on this momentum.
He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and this offense has to find a way to run the football. They got to get...
He's going to fire deep. Catch and stride inside the 15. Finally, some signs of life from this offense, which has done nothing in the 2nd half. It's 1st and 10. He'll keep it himself. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Gives it on the option. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Now facing a 3rd and long. Looking to throw, it's Flowers. Finds a spot in the middle. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one. So here we are on 4th down, and this field goal kicker is going to face all the pressure in the world. And the kicker delivers the 3 to salvage that drive. And they go back on top.
And I think I like the call, man. You got an opportunity to take the lead in the 4th quarter. Go for the kick. He executes it perfectly. Defense, now it's your turn. We got the lead. We got to get a stop.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. A lot of work to do as this drive will start from the 16-yard line. Off the RPO, complete. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Wants to go up top. Just a short pass to the tight end.
It's so important that this offense is able to stay on schedule. And what that means is keeping 3rd downs management. That last completion to the tight end accomplished just that. Really nice play.
And with that effort, they pick up a fresh set of downs. They have it at the 34-yard line. Makes the grab over the middle.
You just get the feeling this defense is going to make it hard on them, right? They've got the lead, it's late, and they're going to try to tackle everybody inbounds. Offense is going to have to really work for this and be smart.
Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
The name of the game is protecting your quarterback. He can't have success or complete passes on his back. Let's get the quick passing game going, maybe hand the football off. But whatever we're doing, let's go the opposite direction.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Brown wants to pass. Oh, they're after him. And he feels the heat coming in. It burns him up. Another sack.
It's always so hard for offensive coordinators to adjust their game plan. When you lose your starting quarterback, now you got your backup in. A lot of times there's so much cautiousness, and you just don't want to run him that much, or you don't feel comfortable with the whole playbook. And you could see it there, and you could see the cautiousness, the hesitation led to a sack.
The Blue Hens will line up to punt it away. Hauls it in and looking upfield. Looking for running room, he'll get it to the 43-yard line before he stops. So the first play of the drive will come from the 43. From the shotgun, they'll run it. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. The Red Wolves want to pick up the tempo.
And this offense gets nothing. They're continuing to run this tempo. They want to try to do something to get a spark going to create a big play.
They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. Nowhere to go with the ball, and down he goes at the 39.
It is hard to continue to get up and get up and get up like he has, being sacked time after time again. But this QB, this offense, they're undeterred. They're continuing to put drives together, and most importantly, they're winning the football game.
And the Red Wolves will punt it away on 4th down. They'll be forced to kick for the 6th time tonight. He makes the fair catch, and they'll spot the ball at the 18. So they start this drive from inside their own 20 at the 19-yard line. Starts a drive trying to go up top. Out of the backfield, he's open.
This offense has their work cut out for him, man, because the coverage has been so tight. And if you're not throwing to the sideline or you're not getting past the sticks, this defense is going to tackle you inbounds like they just did on that last play and bleed the clock.
Out across the 30 mark, down at the 35 after the 10-yard gain. Ball is at the 35. It's 1st and 10. They'll move the wide receiver. A strike downfield. And he's brought down after a nice gain. And the Blue Hens have it with a 1st and 10. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. They make the stop at the 37, but not before he's got 10 yards and the 1st down. Used the play fake, now to throw. Fires to the big fella. Turning it on. He goes out of bounds across the 25, mark it at the 24, and this defense, its head is spinning. Handoff from the gun. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Here's the handoff. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. They run into a bit of trouble here. 3rd and long from the 25, and the last thing they want is to get knocked out of field goal range. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down. This kicker is going to need nerves of steel on this one. Right down the boulevard. And they regain the lead.
Big time kick right there, man. 4th quarter, clutch time. You needed to come through to take the lead, and now the pressure goes to the defense. You got to keep this lead. Got to get a stop or 2 more, and you can get the dub in this football game.
On the move from inside his 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. This drive will start from the 19-yard line. Dropping back, it's Flowers. And here's a fumble way behind. And looks as if the offense was able to get back on top of the football. And yes, it could have been worse, but as it is, it's a safety.
And that's a big-time play by this defense. When you needed it the most, in the 4th quarter, this game is super close, it's tight. Not only do you make a play and get a stop, you put points on the board and you get the football back with a chance to salt this football game away. That's how defenses step up late in games.
Okay, guys, here comes the Delaware offense onto the field. Guys, that last trip, a little disappointing having to take the 3.
Yeah, and I think, Jesse, you see so many offenses talk about getting yards and the tempo and all the stuff they do. There's a nice job moving the football, but they got to get in the end zone this time.
Yeah, and I think to do that, they just got to be more physical at the point of attack, get some push up front. They need to be the best running team in this game to win.
Knew where he wanted to go with it, but couldn't find his target. It's incomplete. They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Takes a hit as he fires. Here's an interception. Oh, did they need that turnover? Takes it the other way. And it's going to be a pick 6. Touchdown, Red Wolves.
How about that play by this defense? The offense trying to salt the game away with the lead. Defense makes the biggest play of the ball game, getting the pick, finding the end zone, and taking the lead late in this ball game.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And he tacks on the extra point. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Dynamite matchup today, fellas. Let's show you what's going down. Buffalo has been able to call its shots offensively. As impressive a performance as I've seen from this group in some time.
And the return man reaches the end of the line, and down he goes. Brown will throw it. Here's the pressure. Trying to make magic on the scramble. He was able to squirt free and pick up just a few on that one. They'll run it from the gun. That'll be a gain of 5 out to the 27. Clock stops. We have reached the 2-minute timeout, and the offense is looking for a play to close this deal out. Motion from the back. Wants to throw on third. Got it in the middle. It's Tyree. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the first down. Looking to throw on first down. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on first down. Second down coming. They're dealing with a second and long. After the incompletion, they go back up top. Quick strike complete. They're able to get him stopped just shy of the first down marker. Sprinting to the line to try to get this one off. Clock's running. On third and short, they'll try to convert through the air. And the incomplete pass will bring up fourth down. Offense working from the pistol. They'll run for it. He did not get there, and they'll have to give up the football, and they might have just seen this game slip away. Bringing the heat. Unloads to the right. Wide open downfield. He's got enough for the first down, and that ought to do it. They ought to be able to run out the clock from here. And that big gainer on the last one has them ready to go from inside the 10. Don't want to risk anything here. The quarterback takes a knee. Bitterly disappointing start to the season as they can't come up with a W and open 0-1.
And there's still so much room to improve for this football team. I know this is not the performance they were expecting here today, but there were plays to be made on the field. And David, I think moving forward, this team just got to do a better job executing.
Yeah, and when you see it on tape, and your coach has been preaching all camp about the mistakes, but now conference play still ahead, a lot of opportunities to still have a successful season.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.